the lecture 7, the natural resources for the BSC5. Okay, the natural resources, or in Thai we call ทรัพยากรธรรมชาติ it is the materials or the living things that occurs in the natures, okay, and you can use it for economic gain. For examples, or you can use it for the producing the energies, or even the source of the biodiversities and the source of the genetic to make the drug like this. Okay, so we classify them into three groups. The first group we call non-exhausted natural resources. This one here you can return to the environment or the ecosystem at a certain time. For example, the sunlight, the water, and the soils, and the geothermal energy. It is the energy come from the ground, from the magma, and the renewable energy or the renewable natural resources. This one take a years or 2 years to return it, okay, or a few years. For example, wildlife animals or the plant, even the plant itself or the crop plant, you need to regrow it and return it in a few years. And the exhausted natural resources, this one it take a long periods of time to return it. For example, the minerals or the petroleum and the natural gas or even the coals or than hin. So this one here we can so you can when it becomes used up, you cannot get it in return again. Okay, the first one, even natural resources they can be returned into your system, but they can be become low qualities or contaminated with the other things. So we can think about the environmental pollution or มลภาวะต่อสิ่งแวดล้อม So this one here we mentioned about three things: the water pollution, soil pollution, and the air pollution. For the water pollution here, we can measure the contaminations of the water here by thinking about the levels of oxygen in the water. Okay, we can mention for three factors. The first factor, it is the dissolved oxygen. So dissolved oxygen here can be the amount of oxygen that dissolved in the water. The available oxygen in the water here can be the source of the oxygen gas for the microorganism in the water to degrade the organic matter. Okay, for the normal levels is about 7 milligram per liter, but if they become polluted, water here is less than 3 milligram per liter. And if you mention the usage of oxygen gas by the bacteria or the microorganism in the water, we can mention the next factor, so-called biological oxygen demand or BOD. This one here can measure by determine the usage of oxygen by biological activities or the microorganism as a bacteria in the water. Basically, the polluted water we have the numbers of the BOD larger than 100 milligram per liter. Okay, so if you have more organic matter, you need more oxygen to digest the organic matter. And the second one is chemical oxygen demand. It is the amount of oxygen can be used by the chemicals. Okay, that is a chemical reaction. For example, if you have a lot of the ion in the water, it can react with the oxygen. So if you add the chemical into the water, they can use the oxygen from the molecules. So if you have more ion and organic matter together, you will need more oxygen to use this way because COD. So basic three values, dissolved oxygen or this one we call DO. Okay. The soil pollution. The examples of soil pollution, it is the infertile soils. It's a soil that have less organic matter and inorganic matter. So the properties of the water to grow the plant is quite low. So you can prove these problems for growing the plant by adding some fertilizer. So we have two categories of the fertilizer to use it. The first one is organic fertilizer, and the second one we call inorganic fertilizer. For the organic fertilizer, is used for improving the soil quality as the porosities of the soils. So if you have high values of the porosities of the soil here, the water can seep down deep into the ground very quickly. But if the soil become more compact, the water cannot seep into the water, so they can cause the erosion later. And if they have less amounts of the mineral in the soils here, you can add the inorganic fertilizer into the soils. As important it is they add the inorganic fertilizers to improve the nitrogen level, potassium level, and phosphorus level in the soil. So that these three elements of the ion here is quite important for the plant growth. And the alkali soils, this one here, the soil condition have pH more than 8.5, and the acidic soil, this one get the pH less than 5.5. When you have the pH that is not proper for the plant to grow, it will impact to the process to absorb the ion into the root. Okay, so you need to adjust it by the chemicals. For example, the alkali soil here, you can add the sulfur, or even you can add organic fertilizer. To increase the acidity of the soil. But if it is acidic soil, you could add lime or หินปูน okay, from limestone, like this. Some important air pollution, as the carbon monoxide or CO, this one here can bind to the hemoglobin in your blood, and they cannot release it, so it is permanently bind. So you can lose that red blood cells. So they lead to the process that you reduce the numbers of red blood cells in the blood that we call anemia. And the source of releasing of carbon monoxide come from the incomplete combustion. When you burn something with low amounts of oxygen, it will impact to the releasing of carbon monoxide. Sulfur dioxide and the nitrogen oxide, this one here can cause the irritation of the respiration process or respiratory tract, and they also when they combine with water, it can cause the acid rain. Okay, and the source of the sulfur dioxide come from the combustion of the fossil fuel, especially for the coal or ถ่านหิน. This one contain a lot of sulfur, so when you burn it, you can get a lot of sulfur dioxide, and sulfur dioxide combined with water to get sulfuric acid. And nitrogen oxide or NOx here, we can have many variations. For example, NO2, NO, N2O5, like this, we call nitrogen oxide group. This one come from the industry and vehicles, okay, to produce it. And the particulate matter, we can separate them by the size. We can have PM2.5, PM10, and PM100. For the PM2.5 here, the size is about 2.5 micrometers, that is quite small, so it can irritate your circulatory system. But the PM2.5 here can enter into the bloodstream, and they can block the blood-brain barriers, so it can block the blood process inside your brain. And they come from the burnings of vehicles, industry, or even the obstruct ventilation of the machines, so you can have low oxygen to enter into the machine. So the carbon here combine together and form the soot, the small soot or ฝุ่นควัน. So the soot here, if the size is less than 2.5, it will be PM 2.5. But if the size ranging between 10 micrometer, it will be PM 10. When it's bigger, 100, it will be PM 100, like this. Thank you.